do have some preliminary numbers, upwards of 14 people that are dead.
Large armed response here by the Sheriff's Department and other facilities.
These families are currently living through the nightmare in the most personal way possible.
Have something of this magnitude, it just tears me apart.
We had somebody out there shooting at our Army Reserve Center. This is a very, very terrible situation.
Terrible human being who would go into a place of worship and people were praying.
This community is based in faith and based in family, and I've seen them come through some very difficult situations. Nothing like this, of course.
The girl said, "Daddy, no," or "Daddy, don't," and then he shot her.
Hello, my name is Abrar Zakir.
My name is Mohammed Sheikh.
And my name is Zaid Hijazi.
And today we will be talking about gun violence. Gun violence is the violence committed with the use of a gun.
It may or may not be considered criminal. Criminal gun violence include homicide, except when and where ruled justifiable, assault with a deadly weapon and suicide, or attempted suicide, depending on jurisdiction.
Gun violence has been on the rise for many years, especially in the past 2 years.
As you can tell from the stats from the Gun Violence Archive, there has been an increase on the number of incidents with a gun from 2014 to 2015. Only about 3,000 of those incidents were used for defensive use.
In 2015, there were more than 300 mass shootings in the United States.
Here is an interview from President Barack Obama talking about the Oregon shootings. The interview was conducted on October the 1st, 2015.
There's been another mass shooting in America, this time in a community college in Oregon. That means there are more American families, moms, dads, children, whose lives have been changed forever. That means there's another community stunned with grief, and communities across the country forced to relieve their own anguish, and parents across the country who are scared because they know it might have been their families or their children. But as I said just a few months ago, and I said a few months before that, and I said each time we see one of these mass shootings, our thoughts and prayers are not enough. It's not enough. But we are not the only country on earth that has people with mental illnesses or want to do harm to other people. We are the only advanced country on earth that sees these kinds of mass shootings every few months.
What Barack Obama said is mostly true. Compared to other countries, America is leading in gun homicides than most other countries, according to this chart.
There is a gun for roughly every man, woman, and child in America. So how can you, with a straight face, make the argument that more guns will make us safer?
Most American citizens own some sort of firearms, to the point that 1/3 of Americans own them.
I would ask news organizations, because I won't put these facts forward, have news organizations tally up the number of Americans who've been killed through terrorist attacks over the last decade and the number of Americans who've been killed by gun violence. And post those side by side on your news reports. This won't be information coming from me, it will be coming from you.
What Barack Obama said was very crucial. Barack Obama told news organizations to compare the number of deaths by terrorism versus gun violence. As you can tell, there is a tremendous difference in numbers.
Barack Obama went over some very important topics, such as gun violence in America compared to other countries, and terrorism compared to gun violence. As you saw, we found some very shocking information, which tells us that we need a change in America.
Here is a video from C-SPAN by Representative James Clyburn on gun violence and how the U.S. should have better background checks before selling firearms.
It's just common sense that background checks should be required before an individual is allowed to buy a firearm. Yet Congress refuses to pass legislation to close loopholes that allow gun sales to proceed before background checks are completed. Under the so-called Charleston loophole that contributed to the mass murder of 9 of my constituents, sales can proceed after 3 days, even when the background check is not complete. That's just wrong. My bill, the Background Check Completion Act, will ensure that background checks are completed before sales take place.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I want to give a quick shout out to Everytime PSA and their campaign to end gun violence.
I heard about a shooting involving a 3-year-old girl over the summer. My daughter Riley is that age.
There was a point when I felt that I was going to die.
My parents used to always say a bullet doesn't have a name on it.
Someone put a bullet in the back of my 14-year-old son's head.
The gun should never be an option. We're Americans. We don't have to live like this. We can all make a difference.
In the United States, 88 people die of gun violence every day.
We can end gun violence.